The studio lights glowed softly as Peg Munson stepped onto the stage for her first live interview since the Golden Bachelor season ended. She looked elegant, calm, confident, and carrying the unmistakable sparkle of someone who had been holding on to a secret for far too long. Fans had been buzzing for months. Had Peg and Mel reunited? Were they still talking? Had they completely cut contact? Social media was ablaze with theories, fan eds, and dramatic predictions, but Peg stayed silent. Until now. Dana Meadows, the host of the reunion special, welcomed her with a warm smile. "Peg," she said, "everyone watching tonight wants to know one thing. Where do things really stand between you and Mel Owens today?" Peg exhaled slowly, as if releasing the weight she had carried since filming Wrapped. "Well," she began with a gentle laugh, "it's quite a story." The audience leaned forward. Back during filming, Peg Munson emerged as a fan favorite almost instantly. Her quick wit, charming humor, and radiant confidence brought Mel out of his shell in ways viewers hadn't seen before. Mel Owens, the thoughtful widower with kind eyes and a heart still tender from loss, had struggled throughout the season to understand what he truly wanted. Peg had been patient, supportive, hopeful, but in the finale, Mel panicked. Instead of choosing Peg, he chose caution, safety, distance, and with that decision, he walked away from what many believed was the most genuine connection of the entire season. Peg handled it gracefully on camera, offering one of the most composed and heartbreaking farewells the franchise had ever aired. But what happened off camera? That was the story Peg was ready to finally share. "I didn't hear from Mel for 3.5 weeks after the finale. Not a call, not a text, nothing." Gasps filled the studio. Peg shrugged. "I won't lie, I was hurt. But I also knew he was scared. Grief does strange things. It makes you question what you deserve." Dana leaned in. "So when did things change?" Peg smiled slowly. "When he knocked on my door." The crowd erupted. Peg continued, "It was a rainy Tuesday morning. I opened the door and there he was, soaking wet, holding a bouquet of daisies and looking like a man who had rehearsed a speech 100 times. Mel's words at her doorstep still echoed clearly in her memory. "Peg, I didn't choose you because I was afraid, but I haven't been able to sleep knowing I hurt the one woman who made me feel alive again." Peg invited him inside. They talked for hours about fear, loneliness, timing, and the kind of courage love sometimes demands, especially later in life. He apologized, she said softly, sincerely. And he asked if I would be open to starting over, not as a final rose couple, but as two real people trying again. Dana sighed with emotion. "And what did you say?" Peg grinned. "I told him he better take off those wet shoes before he ruined my carpet." The audience roared with laughter. Peg lifted her chin, suddenly more serious. "We didn't make things official right away. We took it slow, very slow. Weekly coffee, long walks, honest conversations, and no cameras." Dana nodded. "So where do things stand today?" Peg's smile widened, gentle, sure, and deeply joyful. "Today," she said, "Mel Owens and I are together." The audience exploded in cheers. Peg raised her hand playfully. "But that's not even the bombshell." Dana blinked. "There's more?" Peg nodded. "Mel and I made a promise that if we gave this relationship a second chance, we'd also give ourselves a second chance at purpose." She paused, letting the moment settle. "So," Peg continued, "we're launching the Golden Heart Project, a community initiative for older adults looking for companionship, creativity, connection, and new beginnings." The crowd fell silent with admiration. "It's not a dating service," Peg clarified. "It's a space where people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond can share stories, try new activities, meet friends, rediscover romance, and build joyful lives." Dana wiped her eyes. Peg, that's beautiful. Peg nodded. Mel says love didn't end when we didn't get a final rose. It just needed a little more time to bloom. Audience members stood, applauding. Peg clasped her hands together. So for everyone wondering where we stand today, she smiled warmly. We stand together, side by side, choosing hope, choosing joy, and choosing each other, one golden day at a time.